Okay, welcome. This is lesson 1B. We're still in chapter 1, which is statistics, data, and statistical thinking. Okay. You need to bring to class pen, pencil, notebook, at least minimum 100 pages. Or you can replace this with the worksheets that I gave you. You can print the worksheet and you can write the notes in the worksheet. Or you can replace this by what? iPad, and you download the PDF. Okay. You need a laptop for the test. Okay. So you cannot use the iPad for the test. Okay. So you need for the test, or if there is in-class quizzes, then you need to bring that. Okay. In the future, bring calculator TI 83 or 84. Okay. You can hunt for something cheap. Learning objectives. In this unit, students will be able to define key vocabulary terms, use and identify key vocabulary in an example, define, represent frequency, relative frequency, relative cumulative frequency, use and identify FRF, which is the same thing. This one and this one is almost the same thing. Okay. Do now. So as soon as you come to the class, you need to spend some time to do the vocabulary. Find the vocabulary from the book or from the internet. Those words, you can write it down. Okay. Population, parameter, sample, statistics, representative sample, variables, data, and so on. Okay. You can do this while I'm taking the attendance. So you get yourself busy. Now I'm going to start with rules and quick review, which is like a summary of the entire list. Just a few minutes, okay?
Doctor, do you have this pencil?
Yeah, Naila, she will do the minor changes and then we'll upload it to Blackboard. Okay? So as you can see from this big picture, it said here population parameters. Okay, when we talk about statistics, we talk about population. Okay, and what is related to population is the parameters. When we do the calculation, we do from the parameters. Now, sample statistics. That's where exactly what we use in statistics with samples, because we cannot, make the calculation based on the population. We make it on the sample. Okay. So what is associated with this is statistics, the word statistics. Okay. The sample it has to be random, and it has enough size. Also, it has to be representative. If I am wanted to measure the students' heights, male heights, I don't go to the female and measure their heights because that's the female, that's not the male. So you are not representative. If I am testing workers in a factory, ice cream factory, you don't go to a different factory which is close and then you measure the heights there in the other factory. So it has to be representative. Okay. Remember, always when you do the statistics and you get with the numbers, there is always something called statistical errors. Okay, associated with your answer. Now we have two types of data. We have primary data and we have secondary data, and we talked about this last time. Primary data is that you are the one who's collecting the data. The secondary data, you get it from somewhere else. Okay. Variables, specifically in quantitative, we have two types of variables: discrete variables and continuous variables. Okay, I'm just giving you a big picture of what we are covering. Okay. In statistics and parameters, we use symbols, right? So if you're using statistics symbols or the sample for statistics, those are the letters that we're going to use. What type of letters is this? This is a English letters. X for the mean, X bar, they call it X bar. And we have standard deviation S, and correlation R, regression B, and proportion is B hat. Okay. For the population parameters, we use Greek letters. Okay, like mu, sigma, rho, beta, and so on. Okay. In this lesson, we have to identify what is the data, what is the population, what is the parameters, what is the sample, and what is the statistics, and what are the variable. The variable usually changing. It's not a fixed thing. Okay. In this lesson also, we will get some data, and we'll find the tally and frequency, calculate the frequency, relative frequency, and cumulative relative frequency. Okay. That's for the lesson. Now, I want you to look at this one. This is, we're converting from decimal, okay, to percent. How can I convert from decimal to percent? You multiply times 100, and then you move the decimal points from left to right. For example, the first one here, 0.009. If I want to convert from decimal to percent, I multiply times what? 100, okay? I'll just remove this percentage from here so it will not confuse you. So 0.009 times 100, I move the decimal how many places? 2. Yeah, count with me. 1, 2. So the decimal will be where? Before the 9. So it's going to be 0.9, and you put the percentage next to it, 0.9. Okay, same thing here. This is very important. If you don't know how to do this, this is going to get confused in the calculation later. So here I'm going to move how many decimal places? 2. 1, 2. So it's going to be 9%. Here I'm going to move how many decimal places? 2. So it's going to go above, beyond the 9. Okay. So I have to add a 0. So it's going to be 90%. Same thing for this one, 0.99. We have to multiply times 100 and move 2 decimal places, 99%. Here, if you get 1, don't get confused. 1 will give you what? 100%. What if you get half?
It should be 1.
1 over 2. If you get half, or like this, point what? 0.50. You're going to multiply times 100, right? So what will be your answer? 50%, right? Why 50%? Yes, because you move it to decimal place. That's correct. Clear? You see, I'm making changes while I'm making the changes while I'm teaching. Yes. Is this clear? Concepts and vocabulary check. This one, most likely it will be on the blackboard. I'll give you assignment to do on the blackboard. Okay. You can do it as many times, okay, as you can, so you can get full mark. Okay. Now let's go for the guided practice. Now we're going to start the lesson. Guided practice. What is population and parameter? The definition for this: population is a collection of all measurements you are analyzing. Okay. Parameters is characteristic of the population. Okay. So when we are talking about parameter, just as a note for now, we will usually use Greek letters to represent parameters. For example, if I'm talking about the average GPA of students, okay. So what letters I'm going to be using for the average? Average means what? Mean. So I use mu. You will see things like Greek letters mu or the Greek letter sigma. Something in Greek generally means we are talking about parameters of the entire population. You're going to tell me, are we going to use parameter? We're going to do calculation with parameters? Most likely no. But there are some examples we're going to use. Why? Because parameter is related to the population. It's going to be difficult to play with that. Okay. So this graph is a beautiful graph. It explains to you how things goes. So I have the population here. Of course, I cannot do calculation with the population. So what should I do? I take a sample from the population and then make your calculation using statistics. After you get the result, you refer it to what? To the parameter, and the parameter refer to what? To the population. You draw conclusion at that. So you collect the data first, okay, which is like sample, and then describe the sample, and then do the statistical calculation, and then draw conclusion. Is this clear? If you understand, raise your hand. Okay, good. If you do not understand, raise your hand. Okay, next. Now, as you know that it's like one part is mine and one part is yours. So this is yours. You have to make what's matching. Okay, since today is your first day, maybe you can spend like a few minutes. If you have your iPad, you can do it. If you don't, then you know that you have to do it in class. Okay, so this is matching. Like for example, mean. Which one symbol is for mean? Mu. So you just do the matching. Easy stuff. Okay, you like this stuff, right? Matching. Here also fill in the blank. So here you must have what? What's here population? What is related to with population? Parameters. So you need to write parameters here. Okay, you write just the word parameters. Okay, and your sample must have what? It has to be enough size and representative. Okay. And statistical error, it's just written there. Data sources. We have two types of data. What are the two types? We have primary and secondary. Okay. Variables. We have two different variables for quantitative. What are the two? This. Right. Good. So you write the things here. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Now, guided practice. Here we talk about sample. What is the definition for sample? Or sample is what? A subset of the population. What about the statistics? It's a characteristic of the sample. So we usually get a sample from the population. Why we get the sample from the population? Because it's very difficult to get all the information from the population, correct? A population refers to the total amount of things. I say things because a population can refer to almost anything. This can refer to a total number of people. Can you do statistics on the total number of people? Difficult. You will miss someone, or it's going to be costly, very costly, right? Yeah. To go to each one in the country and knock on the door and then ask him for all the information that you need. Very cats, people, cats, vehicle, houses, and so on. A sample refers to a small part of the population that is used for study, and the total amount of things in a sample is called sample size. Is this clear? What is data?
Information gained from surveys or experiments.
Exactly, information gained from surveys or experiments. Okay. The data, you could get the data from outsider. Okay. Now let's go to the next page. That's a blank one, right?
You're still explaining, right? You didn't get into an example yet.
No, not yet. Okay, so for statistics, we are using what? Sample, right? So those are the what? It's English letters, right? As you can see. All right. And those are together, the sample statistics and the population parameters. Okay, so in statistics, we use what? English letter. In population, we use what? Greek symbol. Here's it now your turn. So I assume that you have paper or you have iPad and you do the matching, okay? You do this during class. Also, you need to explain what's the difference between population sample and representative sample. what is a valuable. Okay. You can find the answers here, okay? But don't look at the answer. Try to get the answer in your own. Here is a guided practice, okay? Yeah, let's start now. Here it said identify data, population, okay? Now, this one for men over what? 50. So we need to find, identify the data, population, parameters, sample, statistics, and variable. So we are trying to figure out if men over 50 can lose weight on a pancake diet. Can you explain this to me? What this means?
Basically,
They only eat pancakes. Can they still lose weight?
Yes. What type of pancake?
normal pancakes,
Diet.
It's diet.
okay.
Means there is no
Sugar, no
sugar. Okay, little.
fats, no nothing.
Exactly. So I came up with this very beautiful table. Do you like this table?
No.
You make me sad. I'm gonna. So take a look at the data. What's the data? It's what? The age. Because when you go and you get the survey, you're gonna have the ages different, right? Age 50, 51, and so on. And okay. And then what else you're gonna get for the data? The weight of the person. You're gonna ask him how much he weighs, right? After you eat and before you eat. Okay. Subject number or name. Why don't I do not recommend that you put name. Why?
Because the name can be repetitive.
Because it could be embarrassing, right? To ask somebody for his name and he lost, well, he didn't lose. He weighed like 200 pounds or 200 kilo. It's recommended to take a subject number instead of name. Now, the population. What is the population here? I'm referring to what? All men over what? 50 in the entire country. Okay, what's the parameter here? What I'm going to use? Mu, which is what? The average, right? For what? For all men over what? 50. They gain or lost. Now, actually, when we do the statistics, we do the statistics on what? Only how many we have? 50, correct? Well, we didn't have, he didn't say. No, he didn't say how many, but we take portion of those people, okay? Only the men in our study, okay? And here we're going to use what symbol we're going to use? The English, right? X bar to get the mean, which is average, means average. And then you're going to wait for what? Of only the men in our study. Last thing is the variable. What are the variables in your study? The subject name or ID. Should we keep it ID only? Better than name? It's changing, right? What is starting weight, correct?
Yeah.
And ending weight, correct?
Yes.
And what else you're gonna get? You're gonna get the average, correct? All this is called variables, right?
Mm-hmm.
Up to here is clear?
Yes.
Is everybody's understand? If you understand, raise your hand. Do you like this table or you don't like this
No,
table?
it's confusing.
Beautiful? Well, I spend like,
It's confusing.
I wake up like 3 o'clock in the morning to do this. Beautiful? Thank you. Because you're going to see this table in the exercises down. Okay. So make sure that you grasp the idea. Okay, I put pictures, you know, see like this picture, like you're measuring the weight. And this picture is for the entire population, right?
Yeah.
And this is only sample, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here we have the mu, and we have X bar. Okay, to make it looks easier for you.
Uh-huh.
All right, so let's move on. So here the study trying to answer the following question. What does diet affect on all men over 50? That's for the population, correct? But we are taking sample. Move on. Guided practice, another one here. Okay, I need someone to read. Who's going to read? Yes? Your name and read.
Almas.
Okay.
You want to know the average cost of statistics textbooks. So you survey 25 textbooks, and we're going to identify these key terms with same six key terms. Uh, the data population and parameter, the sample, the statistics, and the variable.
Very good. So we're going to do the same thing, right? Now, who can tell me what is the data here?
The average cost.
Read. What's it? The actual cost of the statistics textbook. Okay. Now, what is the population?
All textbooks.
All statistic textbooks in Saudi Arabia or in the country where you are doing it. What's the parameters?
The average cost
of all what? All statistic textbook, right? Now, what is the sample? How many books with how many?
25 textbooks.
So we survey how many?
25.
25. That's your sample. And what statistics?
The average of the 25.
Only the 25, right? Statistics books. What are the variable?
The price
of the statistics books.
Yeah, you have to give it an ID, correct? So you have, I can just make it a subject ID, cost of the statistic textbook, and then you have the average. Is this clear?
Doctor, in this question, what's the difference between the first part, which is the data, and then the variables? Why are they the same?
Where? The data?
Yeah.
The data that you're collecting.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're collecting what? What are you collecting?
The cost of the textbooks.
Right. And what else beside the text? You subject ID, for example. You can put subject ID here. Okay. Because different textbook, right? It's like in BMU we have textbook. Another country, another university, you have different textbook.
The difference is data is actual and the variable is average. That's the difference. What's the difference between data and
Here, the data is the information that you are collecting. You can add the subject ID, no problem. But which one is more important? The most important is what? The actual cost.
Yeah.
And you can add, but you cannot add the average because average comes after you do the calculation. But the variable, what's a variable in Arabic means? Yes. So usually the variables here is going to be more than the data because you are doing calculation. You understand? Okay, you want my charger? Yani?
No, I'm just telling you, like I can't view the spreadsheet.
Okay,
The three of us.
very good. I cannot say anything. Now, here there is this one you need to try on your own, okay? Which is identify population, sample parameters, and statistics. You need to try it on your own, okay? Do you wanna? I'm gonna stop recording. Dana.
Identify population sample parameter and statistics.
Very good. Now, can you please read number 1? Read number 1. Yes.
Identify the population and the sample. A survey of 7,335 American households found that 18% of the households own a computer. B, a recent survey of 2,625 elementary school children found that 28% of the children could be classified obese. C, the average weight of every person entering the 1 hour period was was 164 pounds.
Okay, for A, what do you think A population? What's the population here? And what's a sample?
The population.
The American households are the population.
Yes,
And the 1,000.
say.
Three,
Yeah, repeat after what they say. What did they say?
1,335 American households.
That's what, the sample or the population? The sample. The sample. Okay, what's the population?
18%.
All American households. Okay. B. Next to you, please.
Do I read it?
Yes.
Okay. A recent survey of 2,625 elementary school children found that 28% of the children could be classified obese.
Okay, what's the sample here?
Sample is the school children, right?
No, 2,625
2,625.
elementary school children. Okay, what's the population?
Elementary school children.
All.
All.
You have to say all. The word all. Okay, thank you. Next, for the link. C.
The average weight of every sixth person entering the mall within 3-hour period was 164 pounds, 46 pounds.
Yes. What is a sample?
Every sixth person?
Yes. Read. Continue.
Oh, that enters the mall in 3 hours.
Right. And what's the population?
All people who enter the mall.
All people entering the mall within the assigned 3 hours period. Very good. All right, next one. Your turn.
Determine whether the numerical value is a parameter or statistics and explain. A recent survey by the alumni of major university indicated that the average salary of 10,000 of its 300,000 graduates was 125,000.
Okay.
Alumni of
Which one is the keyword here?
the average?
Yeah. Here what are the survey on how many?
On 10,000.
Yeah. Is it part of the 300,000?
Yes.
So is this statistics or parameter?
It's not parameter. Not statistics.
Why?
Because we're taking a sample out of
Right. Very good. Thank you.
statistics is a part.
Yeah.
Is a part, isn't it?
Yes.
And the parameter is the whole. So basically.
But we cannot do the whole, right? Can you do the whole?
We cannot.
Difficult. Yeah. The next one.
Because you might miss someone.
Right. Dana.
With me. The average salary of all embassy line employees at certain car manufacturer is $33,000.
The keyword here is what?
Average salary.
All means what? Sample or everything?
It's the population.
So that's parameter. So we do the calculation here using what? The parameter. Okay, next one, please. Thank you.
The average wage for specific credit households was to 66.75. So it's statistic.
Because we are not using not all, right? Good. Thank you very much. Number 3.
Doctor, so would be the average salary is the parameter. Average salary of all assembly line employees. This is the parameter.
Yes, because they said what's the keyword here? All.
This whole sentence.
Yes. Yes. But here we are not using all. We're using what?
360.
Only 360. Okay?
Yeah.
Please.
For the studies described, identify the population sample, population parameters, and sample statistics. So A, in a USA Today internet poll, can you just remove the mouse? So I can read. Okay. Readers respond voluntarily to the question, do you consume at least one caffeinated beverage every day? So for the population we have the old readers of the USA. Is it right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, then we need the sample. So the volunteer
Right.
that responded to the survey and the population parameter is just a second. Okay, so the percentage of who had at least one caffeinated drink among all the readers.
MashaAllah. And the sample statistics?
Is it the percent or
Yes, at least one caffeinated drink. So the percent who have at least one caffeinated drink among those who were responded to the survey. Okay.
Can you repeat the last two answers, which the population parameters and the sample statistics? What are the answers for these two?
For which one? Number 2?
Yeah, for the question that
Number
we're
3?
waiting. Yeah.
Number 3.
Yeah.
The population here, can you please read this again? Read it.
Me?
Yeah.
In USA Today internet poll, users responded voluntarily to the question, do you consume at least one caffeinated beverage every day?
Okay.
Okay.
What do you think the population will be?
The population is all readers.
All readers of US Today.
Yeah.
But because this is like a newspaper, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the sample is the people who volunteer, or the readers that volunteered to answer the question.
Right. Good.
And the last two is the one that I need help with.
Population is the percent, okay, who have at least one caffeinated drink among all readers of US Today.
Oh, no, this was
It's written here. Again, percent who have at least one caffeinated drink among all readers of USA Today. The percentage that you're gonna get from the calculation. The percent of what? Of what? Of people, right?
Yeah.
At least when they drink at least one caffeinated drink among all who? Among who?
Oh, among all readers.
Readers, right?
Oh, okay.
Because this parameter. Parameters is dealing with population. Okay. Now go to the next part, which is what? The statistics. So what's the statistics? Who responded? So that's sample, right? We are doing statistics because not all of them they responded. Okay, so the keyword here, who have at least one caffeinated drink among those who responded to the survey, because not all of them. Okay.
What's the difference between the sample and the sample statistics?
Sample statistics and
the sample.
statistics, you take it from the sample.
Yeah, here we answered the same for both, right?
Who?
It's a bit confusing.
Do you expect all the people to give you back the survey? If we have 30, how many students here? Let's say we have 35 students. If you give them survey, how many of you will bring back the survey to her?
5.
Raise your hand. So that's the sample of that class.
Yeah.
So that's the statistics. You make your statistics based on the sample.
Yeah.
So whoever answered that from the news, because they put the advertisement or they put the survey inside the newspaper, they cut it.
Yeah, people who answer are the sample.
Exactly.
Yeah, but in this question they asked for sample and sample statistics.
Okay. The sample is a volunteer.
Yeah.
The volunteer that responded to the survey. But when you get sometimes you eliminate some of the responses, some of the survey. Why you eliminate it? Because they did not complete the survey correctly. So you have to eliminate it. Okay. So in this case, we will say the percent whoever correctly completes correctly the survey. Okay. And they are using what? At least one caffeinated drink Okay, is this clear? Not clear?
So it's a
Don't worry, the solution is written there.
But it's a statistics?
Yeah.
Because it's a
Because we are,
sample.
yes, exactly. So you do not have to worry about this. The answer is written here. I wrote it down here.
Okay.
Okay, is this clear?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna stop the recording here, okay?